How many of us have known his wonderful empathy, his care, his ability to be there for us when we experience sorrow or sadness or confusion, as if he were totally there for us, as if we were the only person in the world, as if whatever he might be going through at the time were pushed way to the side for our sake.
I was on a recruiting trip here in May of 2008. So it was pretty close to the end of my senior year. I didn't know where I was going to college, and I was with Coach McDermott walking around campus, and he said, "Hang on a second, I want you to meet this guy," and it was Father Charlie Shelton. And you know, we have the same first name, and I feel like we connected right then. And I signed a couple weeks later to come here and had a great 4-year experience playing baseball, and we went to numerous lunches and dinners together, and we got really close and had a lot of good conversations, and he helped me through tough times when classes were hard or anything else that was going on in my life, and he was just a great man to look up to.
My freshman year, first semester, and I loved it. He really knew what he was talking about. He was very passionate, and I loved having him as a professor. And he had that wit about him that made it interesting.
My favorite memories of him are really on hard days when I would come back to my office and there'd be a chocolate bar on my desk. And it was always a given, and the harder the day I was having, the darker the chocolate got. And I'm going to miss those. And I got a lot of half-eaten bars too, but the hard days, he saved the whole thing for me.
Charlie was not a giver, he was a sharer. When he gave you a chocolate bar, he often took the first bite. But when he gave you advice, he also owned the outcome and the accountability. When you give something to somebody, it becomes their responsibility. When you share with somebody, you own it forever. Charlie valued all these relationships equally, and it allowed him to enrich his capacity for love. He often told me how much he enjoyed being a priest because it allowed him to have deep connections with all of us here today. He'd say it would never have been possible if he wasn't at Regis.
He always gave us a prayer before games and, you know, a little bbit of a pep talk and I guess a speech, but one day he said his prayer, and then with just so much enthusiasm and being a priest, he almost, it was hard for him to say, but he just said, "Now get out there and kick butt for Jesus," and he just stalled, and it was just hilarious. But, you know, I think that's just how he wanted us all to live our life, you know, outside of the soccer field, you know, it was just cool.
He was a chair of his department for the first time this past year, and as a fellow chair, I just really enjoyed talking with him, sitting with him, laughing with him during the chairs meetings. Don't tell our dean. He just meant everything. People just really, a really well-liked, well-loved man.
My senior year, we won the conference championship, and he would always travel on trips with us, and so he was there in Pueblo, and you know, the final pitch was thrown, and we won, and the whole team dogpiled on the mound, and you know, lo and behold, here comes Father Shelton, and he dives on the pile with the rest of the team. And so he really loved us, and he was special to a lot of athletes and a lot of students here.
Every square inch of his room was covered with photographs from the last 40 years of people whose lives he touched. And I lived with Father Charlie for 5 years, and I don't think I ever really appreciated the impact that he has made on people's lives. People calling me from all over the country, telling me how much he meant to them. And as his sisters and I went through those cards, they said the same thing over and over again. "Father Charlie, you changed my life. Thank you so much."
My oldest son came into the kitchen and showed me something that Charlie had given him in 2009. And we collectively have agreed that he would read it as a nice bookend to the last generation of young men and women that Charlie has influenced.
To Tanner, from Grandpa Charlie, Easter 2009. I shall pass through this world but once. Any good, therefore, that I can do, or any kindness that I can show to any human being, let me do it now. Let me not differ or neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again.